Hello friends, this is Ganesh and video number 1 on S4 HANA. In this set of videos, I'm going to explain the generic idea of S4 HANA, like what is S4 HANA and how it's like differs from ECC. The people who are working in ECC for long years and they just get a chance to work in S4 HANA. So what should I know before get into that S4 HANA system? I'm creating a purchase order here, and these are the way I'm configuring before creating a purchase order, and this is my transaction creating an ECC. So is it the same way how to do in S4 HANA, or is it a different way? And as a technical, I'm creating a reports in ACC. I'm referring at these kind of tables. I'm writing these joins. Is this enough? We can run the same program in S4 HANA, or I have to develop anything new, because people are saying we have a limited table, we have a limited transactions in S4 HANA. So those kind of clarifications, I'm going to keep it in this particular session, and going forward, I'm happy to have more videos on S4 HANA. It's like what is a migration process, migration steps between ECC to S4 and ECC to SOH, and what are the comparison between the business scenarios, how it's work in ECC and how it works in S4 HANA. So once you understand about the entire application of S4 HANA, then it's very easy, because S4 HANA is not the next version of ECC. From my understanding, it's a new developed product. Okay, we need to understand very basic stuff, but it's very simple. So I have play around with S4 HANA. It's very simple. So basically, you understand the very minute business scenarios or transaction and tables, then you can play around with it. Okay, and this video, especially the first video, is for the people who wants to know about S4 HANA system, and the people who are already working in S4 HANA. This is very basic for you. Okay, so let's get into that PPT. So these are the things which I mentioned, like just see what is the comparison between ECC and S4 and SOH and S4, and try to understand the environment. That's what I explained. So how I can do the same thing what I am doing in ECC in S4 HANA. Okay, so that is the understanding the environment of S4 HANA and the migration process. So maybe migration I'm not going to cover today, very detailed steps. That may be coming in the next videos, but I'll share the one line of migration process as well, and the comparison of business scenarios, how we created this kind of business scenario in ECC and how we are doing in S4 HANA. And it's not limited, it's keep on, I'm adding the videos whenever I find some interesting concept. Okay, these are the tables which is going to be used in S4 HANA. This is not in ECC. So just create a video and keep it just easy for your reference. Okay, so that is my overall idea. We'll see how many videos you're going to keep in the different playlist, and this I'm going to create a playlist, different playlists in my channel, especially for S4 HANA. Okay, so the first part is S4 HANA. About S4 HANA, as you know about, it is a SAP business suite, and it's a fourth generation, fourth generation and HANA. Here I have a ECC, and I have a database of MS SQL. You can have Oracle or some other database as well. Here I used MS SQL because my rental system has MS SQL as a database. So that's why I used over here. This is the one which we used so far. Like ECC, I have a database, MS SQL. I just ran all the transactions, creating the programs and everything. And then they introduced ECC, and they replaced only the database. There is no change in your application. So maybe for a reference, I can say this part or this layer is an application layer, and this is a database layer. Okay, so there is no change in my application, just a change only in my database. Just change the MS SQL with HANA. Okay, so they call it as suite on HANA. Only the database is HANA. Still, you have able to write the same kind of code. Might be some syntax change we have to do it. Other than that, 80 to 90% it's same set of codes. And the transaction also, I want to create purchase order. There is no change in your application. You can creating whatever documents you want in the same transaction, ME21 and VA01, XD01, XK01, whatever it is, the same thing. Okay, and then they introduced S4 HANA. Here, if you see, the changes is in database plus your application. Okay, so that is S4 HANA. So here, if you see only changes in database, but here it's changed, the entire thing is changed, it's got changed. They changed the application as well as your database. Okay, so what kind of changes they did, we'll see quite later. So these are the three different things you should understand. So I have ECC and I have ECC with HANA and I have S4 HANA. S4 HANA is something, but they have the change in the application itself. So consider this is a new product. It's not like I have a ECC 4.7, 4.6, 4.7C, ECC 5, ECC 6, not like that. This is a new product. Okay. So you're going to learn about the new product, but you know the functionalities. You're already aware of the functionality, but the same functionality you're going to learn in the new product. That's it. Okay. And migration process, the first thing is you have two options normally. You want to do a database migration and then you can do the application migration. Okay, if that is the case, you're going to do like this. So from ECC to migrate to SOH and HANA and then migrate to S4 HANA. Depends on the client, availability or their business needs. Sometimes they decided let's go to S4. They don't want to pressurize their business users or their end users to move from ECC to S4 HANA because the application itself is got changed. So they have to do a lot of training. So instead of that, they feel okay, let's go with the SOH and HANA first, just change only the database, then we feel how it's going further for our business, then they decide to go with the S4 HANA. In that is the case, they might do the database migration first and then they'll do the application migration. Option 2, database and application migration both together. If that is the case, you have to move from ECC to S4 HANA. Okay, so that is the idea. Though there are two options. Either you can go with SOH and HANA and S4 HANA, or directly you can go with ECC to S4 HANA. So these are the options you have. Depends on the client. You can take a decision. You, in the sense, the client and your employer can take a decision. So how they are going to implement S4 HANA. Okay. And then little technical, if you want to migrate to HANA, SOH and HANA or S4 HANA, whatever it is, your ECC has an enhancement package of 7. Okay, so that is a minimum criteria you have to do. If your ECC doesn't have EHP 7 is lesser than that, then you have to upgrade your ECC first, then go with HANA. So you have to upgrade your ECC with enhancement package 7 and then go with S4 HANA or SOH and HANA. Okay, so these are the migration steps. Either you can go with ECC with EHP 7, so go with SOH and HANA or S4 HANA, or ECC, upgrade the ECC to EHP 7, go ahead with HANA. So the two options. I will give a separate detailed videos for this migration process. Technically, what are the things to be taken care before going to ECC to SOH and HANA or ECC to upgrade your ECC as well. Okay. And then optimization process. So this is where the HANA comes into picture. Very simple example I just used to take for the optimization process. I have a custom program, it's running for last 10 years and there is a delay is happening. So the client is asking to customize or just optimize the custom program because it's running or it's running very late, I can say, because of the data volume. So this is the criteria. So normally what we will proceed, we will try to understand the program and we try to modify the program based on the current scenarios, current syntaxes. A lot of things got changed, right? So we can introduce, maybe I can say example, I can say parallel processing might be not available that time. So we introduce what are the current scenario or current functionalities are available to increase the performance of your program. So this is a very simple idea of the optimization of a program, simple custom program. Same thing has happened with S4 HANA as well. So ECC is also introduced long back and they have very big roadmap till today and it's keep on, they're getting more business requirements and data volumes are getting increased and the world is also quite changed. They just move to a digital platform. So considering everything, so they also has to modify their design, I can say. And it's not enhancement package ECC 5, ECC 6, then release support package to support the ECC That is okay, but that is not quite enough for a longer period. And they introduced even SAP BW, a lot of things they tried. And one more option, if you see in the custom program, if you feel okay, the program is okay, I'm able to do it, but I'm not getting a very good performance for a longer run. So what I can do is I prefer to develop another new custom program for the same business requirement. Okay, so that is another option. Either modify the custom program or create a custom program with all the new facilities and it's not affecting your business requirement. Additionally, you can give additional add-ons also in the same custom program which is not covered in the previous custom program. That is also possible. So the same thing has happened in S4HANA. Instead of releasing a support package, they designed entirely a new product called S4HANA, which supports the same functionality and it's open for the current digital world as well. So that way they designed it. Okay, so that is actually the idea of S4 HANA. Okay, it's a new product and it's going to be it's a huge success in the data maintenance. That is very important over here. Okay, so little technical one. So here they introduced or they use the hardware as well. You know about S4HANA, right? It's an in-memory technology. So they use the hardware to run their process very faster. Okay, and they have massive parallel processing. A lot of information they use from the hardware perspective. So that's why it's more faster. And come to little more the system level, they introduced or they just handle the transactions in a different way. If you take SAP, it's full of transactions. So they want to just change or they want to optimize the transactions. For example, for a business scenario, there are 5 or 6 different transactions to perform a business scenario. They decided why they want a different transaction and do it. Keep all the 5 transactions into one. Example, I'm saying the counters example. So 5 transactions and put it in one business transactions. So what happens is every transaction has its own program and every transaction has its own table. So if you filter it out from 5 to 1, automatically all other 5 programs are not going to be used in S4HANA, and the tables also might decrease. Instead of 5 or 10 tables, it might be 3 or 4 tables. Okay, so that is the way they filter out or the segregate the transaction. So this is a huge step they did in S4 HANA because the memories and the object level is drastically is decreased. The same thing for tables. Um, like example, I have a header table, item table, I have a status table, and they decided why there is a status table. Like sales order header wants a status, keep it in the header table itself. Sales order item has a status, keep it in the items table itself. Delivery has a status, keep it in the delivery table itself. Why they want to go for another table? So what happens if you write any report, instead of writing a join between 2 or 3 tables, everything you'll get it in one table. Okay, one bigger scenario I can say they overwrite almost 26 tables into one table in S4 HANA. Okay, so that's way they decrease the size and the data volume in the table perspective. Okay, and enhanced application. It's like there is a transactions where it has a lot of tabs and a lot of screens, and the user is it has almost 100 fields, but user wants only 20 fields to create a document. The particular user, I'm saying, it depends on their role. They want to create only 20 fields. Then why the entire application which has 100 fields to be executed and running? Then they just decided to go with the different level of applications. So it doesn't the same kind of business scenario, but depends on the role. It has only 20 fields to be enabled. They can create it, not all the 100 fields. Okay, so that way they enhance their applications. And finally, it's not only database. S4 HANA is not a database, only database. So uh, it's an easy way to access the business data from anywhere, from any kind of device. Okay, that way they opened the accessing the data. So through CDS views or through Fiori or any kind of device they want to see the data, it's applicable in or it's easy in S4 HANA. So these are the basic ideas they introduced in S4 HANA. So we are going to see two major things about S4 HANA as transaction and tables. what are the transactions they combined and into one, what are the tables they combined, and how to get my data, my business data from which table. So that is the main criteria of this particular session. The first one is transactions. So if you see the transaction like vendor master creation or customer master creation, so they classified vendor and customer as a business partners. Okay, so the relevant vendor and customer master transactions, or they combine into one transaction. So all this transaction, whatever the user wants to do from this transaction, they can do in one transaction in S4HANA called BP. Okay, business partner. There's a transaction code. So if you say XK, still the transactions are available in S4HANA, probably it might delete it in the future versions. So if you enter XK01, you will get a pop-up. So it's absolute. Please use it, the another transaction called BP. Okay, so this is a way they just synchronize the transaction into one. So that's why S4HANA is little different. There is always this big question comes to everybody for S4HANA. People are saying very less transaction. What are the transactions are used? So this is the basic understanding. Once you get into the S4HANA, what is the transaction which I use in ECC? Whether it's the same thing is available or it might be converted into something other transactions. Okay, and another one is like MB01, MB02, everything is you can do it in Migo itself in S4HANA. The question is how I can identify. So maybe you can heard about this. I'm aware of this. Yes, S4HANA is a limited transaction, limited. How we can aware of this, especially for the technical people? Is there any table or is there any transaction is available? Yes. So there are two things available. There is a report called Proof Gen Correction Report 2, and the table as Program Correction 2, where you can see what is the relevant transaction in S4HANA. What is the relevant transaction of ECC within S4HANA? So that you are able to see either report or a table. Okay, I will execute and show you as well. So these are the two things, two places where you can see about your own transactions. The next one is tables. So here, that's what I mentioned over here. I have a sales normal tables and I have a different table for the status. So why should I have a different table? So S4HANA, they designed in this way, like keep some extra fields to hold the VBAK status, sales order item status, and delivery status. So everything, whatever you want, just keep it in there. So they add additional fields in this particular table. So you don't want to refer VBUK or VBUP for the statuses. Okay, so this is one of the way they just changed the database table. Another one is some relevant informations like material informations along with purchase order information, along with plan, storage location, stock details. So why you want to see all the things in a different tables? They just keep one table that is called MATDOC. Probably you might be aware of it. MATDOC is the table where they have most of the things I'm saying. They have most of the relevant informations of materials available in MATDOC. Okay. They call it as it's a line item tables. It's not an index table, so it's a line item tables. So I almost heard 26 tables is actually converted into one table in S4HANA is MATDOC. This is for one simple business scenario, material information. The same way everywhere they did similar kind of research, and they just came with an idea. One table or one or two tables is enough to hold the entire business scenarios. Okay, so this is another way. Another one, another table you might have aware of it, HANA A. So here it contains the SAP general ledger information, profitability, asset information, and SAP material ledger, as well as management accounting. So every scenarios business has its own tables, or 5 or 7 or 10 tables. So everything is combined into one table. They call it as universal journal, that is called ACDOC A table, one of the famous table in S4HANA. Okay, so this is a way they initially designed your S4HANA product. Okay, less transactions, nothing but they combined many transactions into one. Less tables, they combined many table fields into one. Okay, so this is very basic understanding for a functional and a technical people to play around with S4 HANA. Okay, I want this information. Okay, this is table is not available. Probably it might be available in this new set of tables. So we are going to learn some new transaction, new tables. Other than that, business scenarios, technical informations, everything same in S4 HANA. Okay, hope this might be useful for you. So the next one step ahead is CDS views. If you decided to go and work with S4 HANA, please make sure you have an idea of CDS views. You know what is CDS view, you know how to explore it, how to work with CDS views, because most of the functionalities technically I'm talking about is going to be with CDS views. Okay, so CDS view is the heart of your S4 HANA and one of my favorite concept. So here let's me introduce few things. There is a table called MKPF, and the previous slide I mentioned a lot of tables are combined into one table. It was called MATDOC, right? And top of the MKPF table, you have a CDS view called NFDM DDL MKPF. If you open the CDS, it's going to be referred or pointed to MATDOC table only. So because I already mentioned the existing transaction tables are still available in S4 HANA, but it's going to be will be deleted in soon or the next versions. And the same thing MSEG, if you go and see, that is also referred MATDOC in the view. It's not going to be referred MSEG, right? And MARC, they have another view that is going to be refer to MARC only. So the idea is, as a technical or as a functional, if you decide to get the data from any table, try to find out any standard CDS is available for the particular table. And in S4 HANA, it's very simple to identify. Normally in Sudan HANA, if you want to identify any particular view in a particular table, that is a little difficult for that. You have to Google it or you have to identify some other source. But in S4, there is an option in your table itself. You are able to identify whether this option is available. Sorry, any view, CDS view is available for this particular table. So instead of writing select query for MARC, please write a code for the CDS view to get the data relevant for MARC table. It is not just a view, it has a lot of other associations, a lot of manipulations also available based on the business scenarios. Okay. And the one more another part, interesting part is, so tables in ECC are replaced by views in S4HANA. Example, BSAK, BSID, BSIK. These are the tables which is in ECC, and that's all converted the same name. They are keeping the same name for their CDS view also. So these, if you open this BSAK in S4HANA, it shows this is a view. This is not a transparent table. Okay, so that has also happened in S4HANA. And so how to identify a particular view for a table is go to SE11. There is an option in extras, is nothing but replacement object. It's coming under extras menu. So I will show you there. So there they'll mention if there is any CDS view, they will mention the name of it. Otherwise, no. Okay. And what else? Yeah, that's it. I will play around or I'll just walk you through in two different systems like ECC as well as S4 HANA to identify the differences. Okay, let me take you to the system. Yeah, this is my system. The system which is in green color is ECC. It has a database of MS SQL, and the system is normal blue color as S4 HANA system. Okay, so I'll just show you the backend as well. This is my ECC system, and the database is MS SQL. Okay, and this one, the other one is this blue as for HANA, and go here, system status, and Yeah, DB is here it is. Database is HBD, and I already mentioned in one of the video, you know how to identify this as S4 HANA. You need to find a component S4 core. So then this is the S4 HANA system. So over here, got it. So this is not only suite on HANA. This is entirely S4 HANA system. Now we'll start with transactions. Okay. So I'm going to write XK01. I want to create a vendor. So I'm just XK01, I'm in S4 HANA system. So then it will redirect you to go with BP transaction. So this is the way they just made these are the transactions are available, or these are transactions are absolute, and this is the alternative for you. So that way you have to go with. So this is the vendor information they mentioned here, redirecting to transaction BP as transaction XK01 is absolute, and it will ask you to what you have to create it. This is the transaction BP. Okay, then you can start working on what is this portion you want to create, organization. So this is depends on the business requirement. You can start working on it. Okay, and the same way for XD01, it's a customer also will redirect to BP only. So if I go with XD01, enter, that is also this is a customer creation, has asked you to go to BP. Okay, so this is the way they made, they synchronized, or I can say they decrease the number of transactions in S4 HANA. This is the way you have to know what are the transactions are available in S4 HANA for the business scenarios, which we worked in ECC. So for that, we have a program and we have a table. So let me go to the program first, SC38. This is the program. Okay, so program, so correction report 2, execute it. I don't know if you know the roles, you can give the role names, otherwise just execute it. The same way you have an option for tables. Let me go to tables also. Similarly, and the table is this one, program correction 2 is the table, and SAP release is for 751, and the transaction code, actually this is the old transaction code, this is the new transaction code. Okay, so but they made the same name. Let me, yeah, here it is. This is a report is executed it. So old transactions, and they are whatever they are saying is old entry will be deleted. Okay, and you have a new transaction field also, or column also over here. So what I can do is let me filter it with BP. So now, so these are the new transaction and old transaction. So these are replaced, XD03, FD, XK03. These are actually repeated business, depends on the here roles and everything. So this keep on repeating XD03 and everything. Okay. So these are replaced with transaction BP. So let me take out this filter option. Okay. So now it's sorted with transaction. BP is one of the new transaction, and if you see some other transaction also like FS00, SU01, so these are the alternative for these transactions, and you can find out MIGO also. So MIGO, and you can filter it with MIGO. And these are the transactions which has got replaced over here. So MB03, MB11, MB1A, MB1C. So these will be deleted. Old entry will be deleted in future versions. So this is a way to identify what is the exact business transaction of yours is in S4 HANA. And table is actually simpler for us. Where is the table? Here it is. So here I can say the new transaction, or okay, I will say XK01 is my old transaction, and execute. It shows, okay, this is the old transaction and this is a new transaction for you. Okay, and it's like MIGO, it's a new transaction. So F8, it will show you the new, this is a new transaction and this is the old transaction. Okay, so the field names are actually different. Go to user parameters. I'll go with field name. Yeah, it's ST code and TT code. Okay, this is a new T code and this is the old T code. So this is a way to identify your transactions in S4 HANA. What is the alternative transaction in S4 HANA? Another one is tables. Okay. So tables, one interesting concept is they modified your data element as well. Okay, if you see material for material number in S4 HANA, it's 40 characters. Actually, material number is 18 in ECC, but in S4 HANA, some of their requirement they changed this material number as 40. Okay, so same thing if you see in ECC is in green. Yeah, if you see S4, sorry, material number, MARJ, it's only 18. But in S4 HANA, they just changed into 40. Okay. And you can see 265 data fields are available in ECC, and here it's 345 fields are available. They might be combined. Okay. And now if you see VBAK in ECC, okay, so here is 156, and in S4 HANA, VBAK, it's 239. And the interesting part is I can go with this one. Okay, collapse all. You can see some interesting includes. Okay, let me expand it. You can find the status as an include field here, include structure. See VBAK status. You don't want to go to VBUK and get the status. So here you can find out the relevant status informations in VBAK itself. So that's what the one designed is. So no need to go for a different table to get the status. Get it in the same table, VBAK or AP or LAKP, whatever it is. You are able to find out a new include is included in VBAK table in S4 HANA. Okay, so another interesting part is to find the series view. Okay, yeah, let's go with series view first. I want what is MSEG, right? Okay, MSEG F7. This is the table, but I already mentioned this is actually not the table. It needs to be a MATDOC as a table for it. Let me open it in a new session as well. AC11 MATDOC. Okay, so this is the material document information. Suppose if you want to get the purchase order information for a material, normally we combined like VBAP, so we have material information and anything about the plant or material information. Again, you go to the MARA or MARD stock informations, right? So now if you want to know in the purchase order informations, you will get it over here because you will find a purchase order field as well over here. Purchase. So here quantity, purchase order, lot of things. Okay, 1 second. Let me execute this. That way it's easy for me to identify. Okay, this is EBELN. Okay, EBELN. So here, so in MATDOC, you have your purchase order document field as well. Okay, now if you go to MSEG, okay, now I want to know what is the relevant CDS view for this. So in S4 HANA, you are a functional or technical, so don't directly go to the table and start working on your business requirement. Try to identify is any CDS view is already available, standard CDS view for that particular table. So go to extras and go to replacement object. Yes, there is a CDS view. Copy this, go to Eclipse and try to place it over there. It's actually normally it comes with the entity over here because it's NSMDM EMSEG. Just click OK. It's a CDS view entity and this is the one. Okay, but if you identify, if you see, it's taking the data from MATDOC, not from MSEG. Okay, so that way they modified it. So MSEG is pointed to MATDOC only. Got it? And they have all the fields of MATDOC. and so they have the option to enhance this as well. So that is we'll see a little later. Okay. So the same thing for MKPF as well. So if you see MKPF, so these are some basic understanding to just aware of what are the relevant informations of the tables. Okay, and replacement object. So this is the replacement object is the entity. Go here, Eclipse, open it. This is also an entity. So here MKPF and see from which table they are getting the data from MATDOC. So this is the way they modified it. Okay. So hope your understanding about the transactions on tables and somehow as the another part is, let me open ECC first. BSAK table. So here if you go BSAK is a table in ECC, and if you go to S4 HANA, BSAK is a view. So SQL view, and this is the data source of it. So this is a change. This is one of the change in S4 HANA. Because normally BSAK information are available in MATDOC A table. So this is they made the BSAK is they made as a view, and this is the entity for it. Okay, so these are the understandings to identify what are the tables and transaction and what are the views are available for a particular table or available over here. Anything else to be added today's session? MATDOC. So if we go and get the information over here, suppose for the purchase order, I want to know what are the materials or mapped with this table. So just put it and execute it. So you might aware of, okay, these are the materials available and plans, storage locations. So everything is available for this particular purchase order. So let me take the purchase order field little earlier. Purchase, no hits. Okay, I changed it. Okay, EVE. Sorry, I changed into field names. Okay, and keep it there. Continue. So for this purchase order, these are the items or these are the datas are available in MATDOC table. So play around with MATDOC, ACDOC A table instead of normal MSEG or some of the BSAK tables. Okay. So play around with this, and if you have any doubt on this, please let me know. I'm more interesting to share about S4 HANA details in the further videos. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. See you in the next video.